Well, good morning, friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal, and this is Homemaking on the Homestead. And in today's Coffee with Crystal, we're going to talk about the price of groceries, what we're spending on food, can we cut it in half, and I have a little bit of a book review to do on that, and a whole lot more on various topics. So grab your cup of coffee and let's chat. So before I get started, my question always is what are you guys having for dinner tonight? Again, I like to always mention in my videos, in these Coffee with Crystal videos, that it is such a great place to be able to come together and, share what we're cooking, give each other some good inspiration and, what's on your menu tonight. So yesterday I braved turning on my oven and quickly cooked up some fish sticks and some French fries. One of our neighbors generously had given us some corn on the cob, so I cooked that and made a veggie platter to go along with that. So we have some of that left over tonight, but I don't think it's enough to be able to feed us tonight for dinner. We'll see. But I also have back here some chicken that I'm going to debone and chop up. I had a rotisserie chicken and that I had used over the weekend, and I had a little bit left. So yesterday I turned the bones into broth, and I am now going to take the meat, what I have left off the bone, and make chicken salad with that. So I figure if we need a little bit more to add into tonight's dinner, it will be chicken salad sandwiches. So super easy, and I won't be heating up everything again by turning on the oven. Although I am dying to make a recipe that I used to make years ago, and it was from, and I even pulled out the cookbook. It was from my Better Homes and Gardens new cookbook, and this is the 1976 edition of it. It is very old. It was used when I got it back in probably the early 80s, and somebody had given it to me, and I didn't know how to cook a single thing when I first stepped out on my own, and so this book taught me how to cook everything. I learned how to bake bread, I learned how to make pie crusts, I learned how to make meringues, I made all kinds of casseroles from this book, so I love this cookbook. I haven't looked at a newer edition. They do keep updating it and have new editions, and I haven't really looked at that. I would like to, just to see, what's in it. So who knows, maybe one of these days I'll come across a newer edition in a thrift store or garage sale or something like that, which I think would be pretty cool. But anyway, in this book, I have it marked here. I wanted to make this recipe called a brownie pudding. We love brownies. Does anybody remember that recipe from years ago? I know there's the updated versions. What I've always loved about this cookbook, though, is that it is like basics. You don't have to have anything other than basic pantry items, and it's kind of a brownie with underneath it turns into kind of a thick chocolate pudding, and it's great with like vanilla ice cream or something, and I really want to make that, but I don't want to turn the oven on today. So I think that's going to have to wait, maybe over the weekend. We have a cooling down coming, according to the weatherman. We'll see if he's right, and if we do, then maybe that will be my opportunity to turn on the oven and do some baking. As much as I'm loving summer, there is just something about knowing fall is coming and getting excited about, doing a little bit more baking and a little bit more, just oven meals, Dutch oven meals or whatever, just kind of fall-like cooking. So what about you guys? Are you ready for fall? And how far away is that for you? It's still a little ways away for us. Usually by mid-September things start to cool down, and we start to see, with the shorter days, that familiar autumn feel comes back. But so right now I'm just trying to focus on the moment, and what I got going. I didn't have a video out last week because I had my oldest son here visiting, and he stayed over the whole weekend, and that was my time. I had planned to edit the video for Tuesday, film this video and all that, and none of that happened. But it was okay. It was a good trade-off. We really enjoyed the time spent with him. He works remotely, and he lives out of the country for sometimes close to half the year. So when he is back in the States, we really enjoy having him come and just spend some extra time with us. So that was my focus. I'm focusing a lot right now too on helping my daughter with the grandkids and other things. There is some super exciting news to share with you guys on that end, but I'm not ready to quite share it yet. We're waiting for things to kind of all come together, but hopefully soon I will. So that is what I have been busy doing. But today, this morning, I was like, okay, I have enough time now to sit down and have a little coffee chat with you guys. And all that to say, what are you guys having for dinner? Make sure you let me know down in the comment section. So I purchased a book from Thrift Books that came a couple weeks ago. And it's called How to Cut Your Grocery Bill in Half. And it's with America's Cheapest Family. Steve and Annette Economides is their last name. And I thought, well, can I get anything new from this? Can I get any new ideas from this? So I've only had the time to kind of just roughly go over it, and I'll share some of the things I see in my opinion so far. But I did a little bit of research to find out in 2023, we all know grocery prices are crazy, inflation is crazy right now, and so what is, according to the USDA, what are people paying for food? So I just did a quick look at 2 adults between the ages of 50 to 71 years old, because that's where my husband and I are. And that would give us, for the thrifty plan, spending $534.60. They divided in how much it would cost for women versus men. I know we used to routinely spend about $400 a month, and from the information that we do have and that I kind of know off the top of my head, I'm going to say we probably are closer to $450, maybe pushing $500. I don't know, but I did find that interesting. That's the thrifty plan. If you look at their moderate plan, it was $666, and their liberal plan was $797. So I know we don't spend anywhere near that, so I guess we're back in the thrifty plan. How they divide that up, or what they consider the thrifty plan, I'm not even quite sure. Obviously, how much we spend on groceries has everything to do with the choices that we make. Are we eating beans or are we eating lobster? So it's the food choices that we make that's going to determine ultimately what we spend. But there's going to be a bottom line, because you have to buy food regardless of whether it's just basic staples and very minimal amounts of things or more extravagant. I also don't think this is included eating out, and my husband and I rarely eat out. When we go up and visit my son, he lives about 3 hours away, our youngest son, we always take him out to dinner, because it's just kind of a fun thing to do. So we do that maybe once a month with him, and other than that, we don't really do a whole lot of restaurant dining. So it doesn't really end up even being a significant influence in our budget. But if you're in that same category, tell me about your grocery budget. What do you think you spend, or approximately what you spend? Do you eat out? How's that changed? And with the increase in groceries, how has your monthly shopping, meal choices, and things like that changed? Now, if you are a family, what I found, without going through all the math myself, I went to a website called the Crazy Coupon Lady, and I will leave links to this below, and the USDA site as well. But so this was, I thought, very interesting. This was from a quote from her site, and it says, according to a USDA report, an average family of 4 spent about $958 to $1,445 per month on groceries in January of 2022. In January of 2023, that has gone up to somewhere between $1,047 and $1,576. So that's an $89 to $131 increase. And that was in January. So we could all assume that that's probably even higher, as grocery prices have just continued to go up and up. Okay, and this is another link I'll leave you guys so you can find your state. But I thought this was kind of interesting to share with you. What are the 5 most expensive states to buy groceries in? All right, they had all 50 states. You could go through and see where your state is at. But the 5 most expensive states are Hawaii, Vermont, Alaska, New York, and West Virginia. So I knew Hawaii would be high. I was surprised that Alaska wasn't higher, that Vermont, for some reason, is higher than Alaska. I don't know. We had friends that had lived in Alaska, and when we met them, the man worked with my husband. So they were both aircraft mechanics, and prior to that, he had been a pilot and an aircraft mechanic for a smaller airline in Alaska. And I remember talking to his wife, and she said it was actually cheaper. And because they could fly for free, one of those perks when you work for an airline, she would fly down to Oregon and purchase 6 months of groceries and have it shipped up, basic staples and stuff, have that shipped up to them in Alaska. And she said that actually ended up being cheaper for them at that time than it was to buy local groceries. So I thought that was pretty interesting and pretty crazy to think that you have to do that in order to get some groceries. But anyway, those were the top 5. And the 5 least expensive states are Arkansas, Utah, Idaho, Kansas, and New Hampshire. My state, which is Washington, is a very expensive state. I mean, right now we have the highest gas prices in all the United States. We are averaging at about $5 a gallon, so, which is ridiculously high. But in any case, I digress. We came in at number 9 for highest state for groceries. So if you're curious to find out where your state is in this list, like I said, I'll leave that link below so you can go check out that website. It was kind of fun. Okay, my book review, kind of a book review. I'm just kind of sharing it for anybody that might be interested. This came out in 2010, so it's definitely dated because that's 13 years ago. I found that most of the ideas, as I scan through this book, most of the ideas are pretty basic and standard. So if you've been trying to save money, lower your grocery bills, I'm going to guess that you probably do just about everything that is in this book. They have making a plan, they have, shopping to win. That was actually an interesting chapter because, they talk about, things to do to make a successful economic shopping trip, how to look for things like, price per ounce and price per pound and compare things on that level versus just the prices you see. Pretty basic stuff for a lot of us. Cooking in ways that will save you time and money, stocking up and organizing, and feeding your kids for less, wearing out how to eat out for less, gardening. Okay, so my conclusion on this book is that if you are already practicing a lot of that stuff, this book is not going to be giving you any new and eye-opening, wow, interesting read though. So if it has, if the title strikes you as interesting, I suggest you head over to your library and check it out. I wouldn't buy it if you're already pretty thrifty and pretty economic. I don't think it's really going to give you any extra tips. What few you might get is worth a library check out time. Look it over, read it, take it back. If you are struggling with a very high grocery bill and struggling to figure out how to make ends meet, and you don't really have a good practice, you just go to the store, you buy whatever's there because, hey, you need it type of thing, but you would really like to figure out how to get your grocery bill under control, then this book would probably help you out quite a bit. There's a lot of websites that would cover the same thing, but if you want something to just look at, make a plan for yourself, and work on cutting your grocery bills, then this book might help you. And again, I would go buy it used. 2010, there's no reason to pay full price for it. You can go on Thrift Books, Abe Books, and I'm currently looking at other sites where you can get discounted books. So, there's a lot of options. You might even find it at a thrift store at this point. Who knows? But, keep it on your list. It's a book that will help you if you're kind of in that place where you might need that. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about today was another section from this book that I am making my way through, A Woman Who Reflects the Heart of Jesus, 30 Days to Christ-Like Character. I have loved this book. I brought it up, I think, in the last Coffee with Crystal, so not going to go into a big long book review on it right now, but I just thought this was really interesting because my current read was for kindness. So in this book, they take Christ-like characteristics and show us how Jesus practiced that when he was here on earth, and what the Bible says about those things, and ways that we can start practicing that in our own life. So I just wanted to read just the first couple of sentences in the first paragraph on this one, day 16. Kindness seems to be an endangered species as a character quality. To be sure, there are random acts of kindness all around us, but in general, and if you watch or listen to the news, you are probably convinced that we live in a very mean world. And isn't that the truth? I mean, and this book was written several years ago, and it's only gotten worse. And I think too, the fact that when we see acts of kindness, we are just like so shocked by it nowadays because it's becoming so rare. I think many years ago it was commonplace that people were kind, that people did kind things for one another and had compassion. I think, that's the biggest thing with kindness, is that it is being compassionate. The Bible, the Good Samaritan, that was an example of compassion and kindness being shown. The prodigal son, compassion, kindness once again. When Jesus was, here in his ministry, he had amazing compassion for all the people. He healed all of them that came to him. They cast out demons, from poor tortured souls. And I think that it's a characteristic that we could sometimes maybe confuse with being nice. Being nice it's something that you can do for a moment. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are showing that compassion and showing that kindness. Being nice is something that, no matter how you might feel inside, you can, for the moment, pretend that everything is okay, and then be kind. Or be nice, I should say. But actual kindness, it's a part of the fruit of the Spirit, and it is something that we have to develop as we develop our relationship with Christ. So it makes sense that kindness is something that has to come within. We cannot just pretend that we are going to go and be kind. That would be being nice for a moment, but it would not be that kindness as a character trait that Jesus showed to us as an example. The Bible shows to us as example through obviously Jesus' ministry, and also all Bible stories that I've mentioned. Jonah and the whale, there's another one that I can think of, where God showed him kindness by putting him in the belly of that whale for 3 days and giving him time to think about his decisions he had just made. So we need to cultivate that spirit of kindness that comes from within, and that can only come through our relationship with Jesus Christ. And so I encourage us all today to, think about kindness. Think about those random acts of kindness. Think about the kindness that we can show others. And most importantly, think about developing that kindness as something that comes from within. And then you can't help but want to be kind to other people, because it is something that you are nurturing and growing within your own relationship with the Lord. Okay, ladies, it is time for me to move on with my afternoon or my late morning and get moving on with my day. I've got laundry piling up, I've got some housekeeping to do, and I've got some grandkids that need my attention. I need to watch them today. And, make some chicken salad for dinner tonight. And please remember to give this video a like if you enjoyed these Coffee with Crystal chats. I really appreciate you all being here, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. You all mean a lot to me, and I appreciate all of you that come by and watch my videos and, leave your comments and let me know all those fun things, dinner, what you're doing today, how life is going for you. I really appreciate that. I hope that you all can go out and have an awesome and blessed day, a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.